Close passage, it's all about context, right? It's like, for me, if you ask me, it's a larger version of fill in the blanks. It's a shorter version of theme detection or reading comprehension. That's how I would see it. It involves strategies that we will apply for fill in the blanks. It involves strategies and concepts that we will apply for theme detection, because we have to understand the context, right? That's when it will help us identify associated words. Now, if you're in the habit of reading, by just looking at this passage, it's not a normal factual passage or a story-based passage, right? It's more of a literary work. It's more of some prose. And if you are in the habit of reading biographies or life of great, eminent, prominent figures, whether historical figures or otherwise, you understand that, actually I'm aware of this passage because I've read the life of Benjamin Franklin, right? Now this is an excerpt taken from that. It's an excerpt taken from the life of Benjamin Franklin. In fact, it was written by Jared Sparks. So you have a context, you have a background behind it. Right now, even if you don't have a background behind it, when it comes to close passage, some of the concepts, what is the strategies? We look for words around the blank, right? Before, after. What are the words before and after the blank? That's one thing we do. Why? Because it helps us identify grouping of words, collocations. This word has to go with this word. We also look at other things like, okay, what word do I need in this blank, right? What form? Word class. What word form do we need? So do I need when I say word class, I'm sure you understand that. When you go through the 21 types of errors, one of the components or one of the types of errors is word class, right? So adjective or adverb or noun or verb, this is what I mean by word class. What form of the word do I need? So having understood, okay, these are some of the strategies that we will apply when it comes to word class. Again, like I said, even if you're not in the habit of reading and it seems like a difficult passage, you can apply the strategies and see if you're still able to crack it. Now let's look at it. And of what kind are the men that will strive for this profitable dash through all the bustle of dash? The heat of contention, the infinite mutual abuse of parties, tearing to pieces the best of characters. It will not be the wise and moderate, the lovers of peace and good order, the men fittest for the truth. It will be the bold and the violent, the men of strong passions and dash activity in their selfish pursuits. So, those of you who said, hey, it looks very complicated, actually it's not. Let's address it blank by blank and you'll find out why it's not as complicated as you think it is. Now, if you look at the first blank, I want you to pay attention because we're going to apply a little bit of simple strategy which you're already aware of. Right? So it says, for this profitable dash. Now profitable I know is an adjective. ABLE form, suffix. Right? So profitable, this one has to be a noun. Has to be a noun. Right? Profitable what? I need a noun form. Now let's look at my options. I have importance, noun form. Preeminence, noun form. Importance, noun form. Dominance, noun form. Insignificance, noun form. All of it are in noun forms, but I also need the right word that fits this context, right? So we're talking about, if you look at the entire context, it's talking about a specific group of men and what are they trying to achieve, what sort of abilities that they want to portray or strive to achieve, right? So these are all your clue words. They are striving for profitable something through all the, so amidst, if you look at the second context, there's a lot of negative things. Heat of contention, infinite mutual abuse of parties, tearing to pieces the best of characters. So something negative. Amidst all these negative things, they are striving for this profitable what? It could be importance. It definitely is not importance, unrelated word in this context, right? and a negative word. I don't need this, and it can definitely not be insignificance. Why would they strive for something insignificant? I can safely eliminate option E and C. I have to choose between A, B and D. Now for this, I need to understand the meaning of the context of the word, right? Now, importance, yes. But striving, is it just importance, or are they looking for something more specific here? So what is more specific here? Is it preeminence or dominance? Dominance over what? We don't know. What is the meaning of preeminence? Anybody? Preeminence is a state where you're saying it is marked owing to superiority. It's a high status, okay, bringing as a result of marked superiority. So in the context, right, we are talking about something that these men are striving for, something that will be more profitable. What's the closest word? Dominance. In this contention, we don't have other characters in mind here, right? What are they trying to be dominant over or above? What's the more appropriate word? B, preeminence. And of what kind of the men that will strive for this profitable preeminence, which means they are looking for superiority, high status, through all the bustle of, then I have a comma, right? I have commas. The heat of contention, the infinite mutual abuse of parties. So after of, what are you saying? All noun forms. Contention, parties, the best of characters. So bustle of, again I need a noun form in blank 2. I need a noun form. Now let's go back, look at our options. I have bunch, sinister, cabal, extol and virulent. Okay. Now in this, what is the noun form? Bunch is an unrelated word. I can safely eliminate it. Right? When I say bunch, I can think of, something like a cluster or a group of things growing close together. Now, sinister as a word is an adjective form, right? A sinister smile. Cabal, what's cabal? It's a noun form, which means it's a secret plotting or scheming. Something that is done, some scheme or a plot. Okay? This is a noun form. Extol. Extol is a verb form, right? To extol something, to praise highly or exalt. Virulent again is an adjective. It's an adjective form. Virulent means something that is spread easily, highly infective, like a virulent disease. Yeah? So having looked at it, the only correct word class in second option is C, which is in my noun form, right? How did I arrive at that? I've looked at other components that mirror the same. Heat of contention, the infinite mutual abuse of parties, tearing to pieces the best of characters. So I need, again, if I am not familiar with this word, with the meaning of this word, I might miss out on that. And if I don't know the word class, I might miss out on that. The first one, somebody asked, why not importance? For me, when you have 2 or 3 words that are bringing in relatively the same meaning, I need to look at the most effective one based on the context, right? Importance and dominance, like I said, is not very specific. Importance for what? But we are saying because of this adjective here, profitable, something that will be advantageous to them. What will be advantageous to them? A high status, which is marking their superiority in the society. That is more profitable for them, right? So the most effective word is what we are looking at. It will not be the wise and moderate, the lovers of peace and good order, the men fittest for the trust. It will be the bold and the violent, the men of strong passions and dash activity. Again, here I need a adjective form. What sort of an activity? Describing the activity, a descriptive word. I need an adjective form. Let's look at my options. Indefatigable, bolster, lethargic, embolden, and divulgate. Right? So, what's it gonna be? Again, quickly. What are the forms that I can quickly eliminate? Bolster is a verb form. What is the meaning of bolster? Bolster means to support or reinforce, right? to bolster, you can bolster somebody's morale. So be is out, it's a verb form. C, lethargic, though it's an adjective form, it's a negative word. I don't need a negative word. They are definitely, it's saying it will not be the wise and moderate, the lovers of peace and good order, the men fittest for the trust. It will be the bold. So we're talking about vigorous, undefeatable men with a lot of passion. So obviously it can't be lethargic, negative word. I can safely eliminate option C like someone pointed out, whipping, correct. Embolden again is a verb form, right? Embolden means to encourage. It's a verb, to encourage, to make bold. Divulgate again is a verb form, to make something publicly known. So the only other correct form is adjective. Indefatigable means what? Somebody who is not tiring, right? Somebody who persistently continues to achieve something or to indulge in something that they want to achieve. So persistent effort, untiring, right? So these are the words. So in the context, this is the more appropriate option, right? So somebody who's tireless, yes, relentless, Vipin and Vinay, correct. It will be the bold and the violent, the men of strong passions, and somebody who does not give up attitude, right? Untiring, relentless, tireless activity in their selfish pursuits. So the answer option is A. Now in the first three blanks, again if you noticed, we've looked at the most effective word, at least for the first blank. Though we could safely eliminate two wrong answer options, we had three answers from which we picked the most effective word, keeping in mind the context and the clue words, right? Striving for something profitable. Then we looked at the second one, we applied word class, we eliminated all the other wrong answer options, right? Adjectives and verb forms, we needed a noun form. How did we arrive at that? We looked at surrounding context. Surrounding context was giving us an idea, the heat of contention, the infinite mutual abuse of parties, tearing to pieces the best of characters. So we've looked at surrounding context, we've said, hey, we need a word class here. 23 again, we've applied pure word class, right? We've eliminated wrong answer choices here. We're saying, hey, we need a descriptive word describing the activity. So let's move on. Let's look at the last two blanks quickly. These will trust themselves into your government and be your rulers, and these two will be mistaken in the expected happiness of their situation for their dash competitors of the same spirit and from the same motives will perpetually be dashed to distress their administration, thwart their measures and render them odious to the people. Okay, so quickly again, what are we looking at here? These will thrust themselves into your government and be your rulers, and these two will be mistaken in the expected happiness of their situation for their dash competitors of the same spirit and from the same motives. So what are our options? Disprove, controvert, diffident, vanquished, surrender. So again we need an adjective form here, right? What sort of competitors? Competitors, my noun form. Describing the competitors, I need an adjective here. So what are my options? So disprove is to prove to be false or wrong. Is that the one? Is that the word that we need here? No. Wrong word choice. And disprove anyway is a verb. It's not an adjective. What about controvert? Controvert again is a verb form, which means to deny or refute. Not the right form. So controvert, not the right form. Diffident. What's the meaning of diffident? Diffident, yes, it's an adjective form, but what's the meaning? It says lacking or marked by a lack of self-confidence. So somebody who is very shy and timid, not the right word here in the context. We don't need shy and timid competitors. Out. Vanquished. Vanquished means to defeat or overcome in a battle, right? Conquer. Seems like a right fit. Definitely not surrender. Surrender again is not a adjective form. It's a verb form. So the only adjective form here is, the right adjective form is D, vanquished. Vanquished competitors. So again, what have we done? So this entire paragraph, if you look at it, it's purely to do with identifying the right word class, identifying the right form of the word, understanding the context. Fifth one. So, vanquished competitors of the same spirit and from the same motives will perpetually be dashed to distress their administration, thwart their measures, and render them odious to the people. So, obviously, I need a verb form here, but if I look at all my options, everything is a word form, just like option, the first blank, right? 21 blank. All of it were noun forms. So, everything is ending in ing, which means everything is a word form. So, I need to pick the right word here. So, I definitely safely can eliminate option A, procrastinating. It's a negative word, right? Something that, what is procrastinate? You don't do it now, you do it later, wasting time basically, right? So this is not the word that we need here. If you look at it, the context is talking about somebody who is working with a specific aim, right? They want to thwart their measures, render them odious to the people, something they want to do to distress the administration. So they have a very specific goal in mind to achieve. So expatiating means what? Expatiating means to wander freely. Unrelated word. Not the right word in the context. Out. So is it attempting, contemplating, or endeavoring? Now, attempting and contemplating are very weak words, right? Because here the context is talking about them wanting to do something with a with a vengeance almost. They have it all planned out already. So attempting is trying to do. Contemplating is thinking about it. Both the words are not strong enough. Endeavoring, on the other hand, is very, very strong. What do you mean by endeavoring? Which means you're working with a specific goal. You're working with this particular purpose. What do you want to do? Everything is mentioned here. They want to distress the administration. They want to thwart their measures. They want to render them odious to the people. So, when there is something that is so specifically mentioned, the only closest word is they look forward. They want to do this. They have a specific goal or a purpose. So, when you're working towards something specific, right? You have a goal in mind, goal or purpose in mind, right? This is a more appropriate word, endeavoring. Yeah. So whoever, this particular passage, right? On the outset, it looks very complicated, but actually, if you understand word classes, words and their meanings, it's not a tough one to choose. And if you're very good at, understanding, okay, this particular blank, I need an adjective form. This particular blank, I need a verb form. This particular blank, I need a noun form. And look at the options and eliminate wrong answer choices, and also unrelated words, or looking at the context, okay, what meaning do I need? Do I need a word that brings in a positive meaning, or do I need a word that brings in a negative meaning? So if you're familiar with stuff like that, it becomes easier for you to arrive at the answer, right? So things like even words that might kind of, put you in a fix where you feel, okay, it's hampering your understanding. Odious to the people means repulsive, right? Certain words, if you feel, okay, it's hampering my understanding of the context, you can make it out. You definitely know it has to be a negative word. So I'm sure most of you wouldn't have been able to score much in this close passage, because like I said, the context seems complicated, and if you are not very familiar with identifying word classes or understanding meaning, then it could be an issue.